Family's about multitasking. Thank you. It's so great to be with you. And I also bring greetings and regrets from my spouse, Becky. Originally, we were planning to do this together, which would have been a fabulous opportunity, but unfortunately, the demands of managing a teen and a preteen summer schedule proved to be a little too much to make that happen. So Emily, Finney, and Becky are here with you in spirit and have definitely inspired this talk. I'm sorry that that you only get me today. So I'm here as a married lesbian Catholic mom, deeply committed to my faith, as is Becky, and also deeply committed to ensuring that my family is treated with the same respect and has the same legal rights and protections as any other family. I want to talk with you about the ways in which Catholicism both enriches and challenges families like mine. As a little bit of background, I'm a cradle Catholic and was raised in one of those families where every extended family event was around a baptism, First Communion, confirmation. You all know the marriages. You know, we grew up in that. We all went to Catholic school, all through grammar school, high school. I went to a secular college, but was very involved in the Newman Association there until I was kicked out for being a lesbian. That's another story. And then went to Jesuit seminary where I self-funded my MDiv degree and wound up with years and years of student debt that most of my male colleagues didn't have. Becky is a convert to Catholicism, having discovered the faith at a Mercy College in Erie, Pennsylvania. She loved the belief in the goodness of creation that our faith embodied, finding incarnational theology immensely liberating after the judgmental fundamentalism of her childhood. She actually joined the Mercy community and was a member for 9 years before coming to Boston to get a social work degree and meet me. But our lives have both been very much infused with Mercy spirituality, and it has guided many of the major decisions of our life. Our family worships in an intentional Catholic community, Dignity Boston, which, as Jim said, is very much involved in helping to support us in raising our kids. It's also a lay-run community and uses a model of shared leadership in all aspects of community life, including presidership at liturgies. We celebrated our marriage in this community. Our daughters were baptized there, and we're incredibly grateful to be part of a Catholic community where women and men function as equals, and where our marriage is seen as valid, and our daughters see women doing all the things that men can do. We also try to bring many of the aspects of our faith into our home life. We celebrate the major liturgical seasons of Lent, Easter, Advent, and Christmas with rituals at home. We pray together at meals and when people are in need. We participate in charity events as a family, and each of our girls has a giving box into which a portion of any money they earn or are given goes. We talk about the readings, songs, and the homily from each liturgy and try to help our girls connect the themes to their own lives. Just last week, as our community celebrated its annual Mary of Magdala liturgy, we talked about how Mary was the first witness to the resurrection and the real founder of the Christian faith. If that's true, why can't women be popes? Asked Finney, our 11-year-old. Yep, she gets it. So with all of the good we find in our faith, we have to acknowledge that Catholic teaching and Catholic officials negatively impact our lives and the lives of other LGBTQ people and families every single day. Becky and I, and others like us, are still branded in official Vatican documents as objectively disordered, and our relationship as intrinsically evil. Although they try to say that LGBTQ people are loved and welcomed just as we are, these horrid, condescending, judgmental labels are demeaning and dehumanizing, but they are defended by church officials as divine truth. To many, they give LGBTQ people a status of being less than fully human, or at least morally deficient. And that is used to justify violence against and criminalization of us. The over-the-top rhetoric used by many Vatican and other church leaders, including the current Pope, to denigrate same-sex couples and other families of LGBTQ people is also incredibly insulting and alienating. Calling same-sex marriage, quote, a threat to the family, a human and moral tragedy, ideological colonization, and using other alarmist language is irresponsible. In one of the most outrageous statements, in 2002, as the clergy sex abuse scandal was at a high point both here in the US and overseas, then Pope Benedict said that allowing same-sex couples to raise children was, quote, doing violence to those children. This kind of statement has damaging practical ramifications all across the globe, and it denies the reality that all of us know. Rather than being a threat to the family, I ask you to consider the enormous number of LGBTQ people who disproportionately become the primary caregivers in their families, providing for aging parents, caring for ill and disabled siblings, and with unrecognized frequency, raising the children of other family members who are unable to care for their offspring. Take a look around, bishops, and see how many families are literally being held together by their LGBTQ members before you dare to trot out these bigoted, inflammatory, denigrated, and totally unfounded slogans again. And realize that what really threatens families are teaching that make parents believe that they should reject their LGBTQ children, refrain from attending their gay and lesbian children's weddings, or be estranged from grandchildren brought into the family by LGBTQ children. Thankfully, this is happening less and less these days, but parents and families still often experience some period of excruciating torment as they try to reconcile what they've been taught by church officials and their love for their children. All of us here know that Catholic officials have taken a leading role in efforts to maintain and expand laws that discriminate against LGBTQ people. Bishops have led efforts to ban equal protection laws at the municipal, state, and national levels all across the globe, leading to increased vulnerability for us in housing, employment, insurance, public accommodations. Despite their commitment to immigrants' rights, they're willing to back away from approving expansions of protections if LGBTQ immigrants are included. They have objected to numerous efforts to expand legal protections and medical insurance for transgender individuals. The bishops fought repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and even after the repeal, instructed military chaplains not to provide any services to members in same-sex relationships, even funerals. And of course, they've been in the forefront of efforts to ban same-sex civil marriage, and in the wake of the recent Supreme Court expansion of marriage equality nationally, have denounced the ruling and issued many predictions of cultural disaster. All of this has kept LGBTQ people in a second-class status and increased our social vulnerability. Catholic teaching and how it is interpreted by church officials here in the US and elsewhere also makes workplaces, schools, and places of worship unsafe. If either Becky or I worked for a Catholic parish, school, social service organization, or hospital, our employment could be ended abruptly if someone found out we are lesbian or married and objected to the administration. And if the administration did not respond in the way the complainer felt was appropriate, he or she might well take that information to the diocese, which is likely to order the agency to fire us. It's unlikely we'd be able to get benefits as a couple, even if the agency provides benefits for other legally married couples whose relationship is not sanctioned by the church, such as those who have been divorced and remarried without an annulment. Whether our children could have been baptized in a parish is completely dependent on the pastor's interpretation of church policy. And their ability to attend Catholic schools is also subject to the school's policy and to whether their presence there doesn't attract the attention of someone who objects to their parents' relationship. In fact, when Becky and I decided to parent and to form our family through adoption, church policy limited the options available to us. We looked at international adoption, but there is no country from which we could adopt openly as a same-sex couple, due in large part to laws and policies influenced by the Catholic Church. We would have had to lie about our relationship, have one of us adopt as a single parent, and then go through a second parent adoption process later on. In the meantime, one of us would have had no legal relationship to our child. Even domestically, church policies limited our options. We first approached Catholic Charities, the largest provider of foster care and adoption services in our states, as in many states. We were told that while they would train us, as they were legally obligated to, they would never place a child with us. Fortunately, our state government supported having lesbian and gay people as foster and adoptive parents, so we were able to be matched with our kids through the Department of Children and Families. But many LGBTQ individuals and couples who would provide stable, loving homes for children in need are banned from adopting or being foster parents due to unfounded biases perpetuated by Catholic leaders. In fact, from the Vatican to US bishops, there are intense efforts underway to claim that requiring agencies to place children with qualified same-sex couples is a violation of religious liberty. This means that children continue to linger in temporary placements, suffer the trauma of frequent moves, and are denied the significant physical, psychological, and social benefits that come from being part of a family. That is evil, and it's being perpetrated by our church every day. So what does Pope Francis need to know from the LGBT community? And he can hear this from us when he comes to Philadelphia and goes to the World Meeting of Families, because lots of us will be there. Church teaching is wrong, based on nothing more than prejudice and long disproved myths, and it's intensely damaging to LGBTQ people and to others in society. The only moral thing to do is to immediately reverse these teachings, end pastoral practices that discriminate against us, stop supporting oppressive laws, and to humbly apologize for the decades of harm that have been caused. For this, we urge Pope Francis that you listen to the majority of Catholics who, because they know and love LGBTQ people, understand and affirm the necessity of treating us as equal in every way. Earlier this month, our organization, Dignity USA, passed a resolution that calls on the leaders and members of our Roman Catholic Church to ensure that all of the sacraments of our church be administered regardless of the gender identity, sexual orientation, or relational status of the person or persons seeking the sacrament. We've seen tremendous support from Catholics for LGBTQ equality in the civic arena, and this moral leadership has helped us achieve substantive legal gains. Now it's time to look within our church and to name and correct the myriad injustices that exist there. As in the public sphere, I expect that it will be the laity that rallies to this cause first. We have also heard from many pastoral ministers that they're aware of and troubled by these inequities and believe it is discriminatory that they cannot provide the same pastoral services to their LGBTQ parishioners as to others in their congregations. We hope to have the support of pastoral theologians who can articulate why the exclusion of some is unjust to all. And we put church leaders on notice that we will no longer accept being denied to be full, equal members of our church. We didn't get half a baptism, and we want to participate in the whole life of our church. It is my dearest hope that by the time my daughters are ready to start families of their own, the Catholic Church will be a huge, vibrant community that embraces them, no matter who they turn out to be, whom they love, and what kinds of families they create. I believe that by naming and working to end the barriers to this kind of reality that currently exist, we make it more possible together that this will indeed be their reality. Thank you.